of the episodes are far more alarming, this is undoubtedly the most spectacular life story that we have had the opportunity to see so far. This is because the main actor himself genuinely experienced life. Jack Nicholson, one of Hollywood's biggest womanizers, will soon turn 81. Throughout his career, he was involved in significant scandals, odd love affairs, and several incidents involving drink and drugs. He started experimenting with LSD in the 1960s because, after using it for the first time, he saw God. Soon after, he began experimenting with marijuana, cocaine, and mescaline. Eventually, he developed a lifelong addiction to these substances. Despite this, he remained dedicated to performing throughout his 60-year career, winning 3 Oscars and being nominated up to 12 times. According to recent headlines, he is returning to the cameras after a 7-year hiatus. Although it is unknown whether Jack Nicholson, a well-known Hollywood actor, was born on April 22, 1937, he will shortly celebrate his 81st birthday. In particular, Nicholson lacks a birth certificate, his father's identity is unknown with certainty, the truth about his biological mother was long kept a secret, and everyone who knew what happened is now deceased. Although June Nicholson, a woman he believed to be his older sister, gave birth to him as an illegitimate kid in a hospital in New York, his grandmother Ethel, whom he long believed to be his mother, claimed to have given birth to him at home in Neptune City, New Jersey. Despite this, neither a girl by that name nor a boy by that name was ever reported to have given birth on that day. Even the boy's birth year, 1938, his grandmother Ethel informed the priest when young Jack was baptized, is not quite known. His reported mother was a dancer who married Don Rose's friend after having a child with Don Rose, real name Fursillo. They divorced because he was already married. Then Ethel came, pretending to be a mother to protect her daughter from disgrace caused by the birth of an unmarried child or, at the time, an illegal abortion, while also allowing her to continue her fledgling career in show business. Jack grew up believing that John Nicholson, his grandfather, was his father. John was a harmless drunk who Ethel expelled from the house when he lost his job, which prompted her to start working as a hairdresser. According to legend, Jack didn't discover the truth about his family history until 1974, when a journalist, who was already well known in the film industry, conducted a thorough investigation into the actor's past and conclusively established that June, whom he believed to be his sister, was his mother, and Ethel was his grandmother. By then, both had passed away. Ethel passed in 1970, and June passed in 1963 at 44. Thus they were unable to validate nor refute the claim. She eventually received confirmation from Lorraine, Jack's other sister, who also was unaware of Jack's biological father. Despite the advice of numerous friends and the family of his purported father, Rose, a DNA test was never conducted. However, he never tried to learn more about his father's identity because he didn't want to worry about it. The man said that a parent is not someone with the same genetic code but who is present with you as you grow up. I was raised in a female-only environment. I grew accustomed to being around ladies and learned what they liked, and my grandmother brought out the best in me. I consider myself extremely courteous, and I owe her huge gratitude for raising me in such a manner, the actor remarked. Although he waves his hand at this claim and steadfastly denies it, this may be the secret to his success with the women he has seduced throughout his life and allegedly had 2,000 sexual encounters with. Hell, who's taking it seriously? He repeated multiple times that the claim that there were a lot of them was untrue. After graduating from high school, where his peers had voted him the biggest clown, Nicholson went to see June, who had by then married, given birth to 2 children and relocated to Los Angeles, but he wasn't sure if she was his mother or sister. He never returned to the East Coast, though he had expected to stay for a while. You need $50 a day to survive the cold in New York, but you can sleep on the streets here all year long, said Nicholson. Shortly after, he was hired by the MGM studio to work as an animator. Still, he also realized that he wanted to work on movies in a different capacity, as an actor, director, and screenwriter. He attended the Player Ring Theater to study acting. After making stage and television appearances, the films that earned him the top prize quickly followed. Before writing the play The Trip, regarded as one of the most explicit expressions of the psychedelia of American cinema at the time, he initially made a brief appearance in Hell's Angels on Wheels. The story centers on a man who, as a metaphor for wanting to start over in his life, decides to experience LSD for the first time. The movie then chronicles his adventures, which may involve wandering the city streets or seeing drug-induced visions. The excesses that took place while the movie was being made also made them famous. Actors Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper are said to have smoked 155 joints while filming the campfire scene, and one actor nearly passed out from a peyote overdose. The cult classic Naked in the Saddle, which follows two hippies who deal drugs and smoke marijuana while riding Harley-Davidson motorcycles through an America tainted by prejudice, attracted a large audience and marked a significant career turn for actor Jack Nicholson, who received his first of 12 Oscar nominations for the role of an alcoholic lawyer. He subsequently admitted, "I've been in the business long enough to recognize that I've become a star while sitting in the audience at the premiere." This part opened the door for more opportunities that shaped his career and made him one of the finest actors of all time. Each character has uniqueness thanks to his visage, which may be both sinister and irresistibly charming. Additionally, the critics acknowledged this by giving him 3 Oscars. He won his first Oscar for playing the disobedient Randall McMurphy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, followed by another for playing the retired astronaut Garrett Breedlove in the romantic drama A Time of Tenderness, and finally for his performance as a scowling writer in the movie It Doesn't Get Better. His enjoyment of drink and drugs, which he habitually used before fame and wealth, was also made possible by the success of the film Naked in the Saddle. The secretaries at the BBS production facility were supposedly selected based on their ability to roll joints, had to eat lunch with cocaine rather than salt, and once mistakenly thought they were sniffing narcotics when inhaling the mother's ashes of one of the BBS founders. He was known for his continual partying. According to his colleague Robin Williams, Nicholson is the only guy in the world to have been told to leave a party by the famed Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards because he could no longer handle it. Nicholson's attitude toward his work was highly professional despite the speed and excess. "I knew I had almost fallen off a cliff when I woke up, but I always cared for myself. I would retire to bed, and Kit would stay up for 7 nights. Even though it would be late, I would still sleep. They never waited for me on set, and during my career, I only missed 1 day of filming, which was when I hurt my back on The Shining," he said, adding, "I smoke marijuana around 4 days a week because I enjoy getting high. I had a terrific time using mescaline while rafting with buddies last year. I wasn't dreaming, I was taking in the sunshine." He always devotes himself to his duties with great care and attention to detail. In the 1974 thriller Chinatown, directed by Roman Polanski and regarded by critics as one of the best movies ever made, Nicholson, who played J.J. Gitz, insisted that his detective agency's name be printed on the contracts even though it would never be mentioned in the movie, and that the J.G. monogram be embroidered on his shirts above the pocket even though he never removed his jacket in the movie. He took violin lessons for the Witches of Eastwick, even though someone else played the instrument in the movie. Nicholson always had time for ladies, regardless of how busy he was working, drinking, and using drugs. Only one of those approximately 2,000 people he dragged to bed, the young actress Sandra Knight, was real. After 6 years of marriage, they now have Jennifer, a daughter who is now 53 years old. The couple sought the assistance of a psychiatrist when their marriage hit a rough patch, and the doctor tried an unusual course of treatment involving psychedelic medications. In contrast to Sandra Knight, who did not enjoy the experience as much as Nicholson did, the couple split in 1968, just before he rose to fame. Regardless of marriage or a committed relationship, he did not tolerate monogamy or cohabitation well and never ceased his seduction campaigns. He didn't portray himself as a perfect cavalier, either. He had a kid with Susan Anspach, an actress with whom he filmed steamy sequences for the film 5 Easy Pieces. He allegedly paid for Caleb's education at a pricey university. He gave his mother a loan of roughly $500,000, so she could pay off the mortgage on an expensive mansion in Santa Monica, even though he never acknowledged the boy. But because she never paid him back, he sought in court in 1995 that her house is seized to pay the debt. Nicholson bluntly answered that he merely had a minor dislike for the woman when Ansbach grew furious and said he despised her. After her disastrous 8-day marriage to Dennis Hopper, he started dating singer Michelle Phillips at the beginning of the 1970s. During the disco craze, he partied in New York City's Studio 54 and Mad Club and hung out with models Lauren Hutton, Apollonia Van Ravenstein, and Sousa. He also had a thing for famous model Jaija Kuranga, who subsequently developed a heroin addiction and passed away at 26 from AIDS. She declined his offer to give her the key to his hotel room. She confided in her companions, "I can't tolerate him. He's an old man." Even though he had a pot belly and was 40 years old, Nicholson was still seductive to women, perhaps except for Gia. He also had little resistance from the actors Faye Dunaway and Candice Bergen, and in 1981 his daughter Honey was born to Winnie Holman, a Danish supermodel. Angelica Houston, the striking daughter of renowned director John Huston, actress, model, muse of fashion photographer David Bailey, and vintage fashion icon, was the most significant woman in his life, and he genuinely mourned when she left him. When someone took her to a party at his house when she was 21, he first encountered her when she was a young girl and fell in love with her immediately. With a few pauses, they remained together for 18 years, spending many of those years living together with his daughter Jennifer and Allegra, the younger sister of Angelica. He engaged in drugs and prostitution when Angelica left him for Ryan O'Neal. He frequently went skiing in his favorite Aspen, where he also owns a home, and he gave his pal Roman Polanski the use of his home in Hollywood. Samantha Griner, who would subsequently be revealed to be only 13 years old, was first introduced to director Polanski in residence on Mullenhold Drive in 1977. He intoxicated her with drugs and champagne, coerced her into having sex, and then enticed her by promising her fame and a Vogue photo shoot. Angelica entered the room quickly to gather her belongings at that precise moment. When Polanski was accused of raping a child and Angelica was detained due to the discovery of copious amounts of cocaine and hashish within the home, a scandal of catastrophic proportions ensued. Fortunately for them, no one noticed the coffee cans and double-bottom toothpaste tubes, and even the police dogs failed to find the smelly cedar closet door where the drugs were concealed. Angelica eventually forgave Nicholson's affairs and exploits and reconciled with him. Still, the relationship was irreparably damaged when the model Karen Mayo Chandler revealed everything about their relationship in Playboy in 1989. She detailed how Nicholson had her dressed in blue and romped around the bedroom in his satin boxers, only pausing for sex to eat a peanut butter sandwich. After her, the pregnant model Rebecca Broussard made the same announcement. Even though he had previously cheated on her, Angelica was particularly hurt by it since she was actively attempting to maintain a separate state. Angelica first said, "You have to be with that woman. She is carrying your child." After that, she came to my seat and beat me like an ox. He revealed this after Angelica had ultimately left him, and he had already been mentally damaged. He acknowledged that it was likely the most painful time of his life. Lorraine and Ray were born to actor and model Rebecca Broussard in 1990 and 1991, respectively. Nicholson never gave her the key to his home, as was only natural. Their romance ended when he cheated on her with French actress Julie Delpy. And that is the only regret he has right now. Despite having everything a guy could desire, I can't be considered successful in issues of the heart. I am still trying to understand why. Though I don't believe that is a reasonable expectation, I would love to have that one last genuine romance. I must admit, though, that I don't yearn for it, he feigned. Later, information concerning his alleged liaison with co-worker Meryl Streep came to light. According to Mark Elliott, the author of the biography Nicholson, the pair first met in a trailer while filming the drama Steel Roof in 1987. On the set of the film Love Pain, where Nicholson and Streep first connected, the actor was dating Angelica at the time. The caravan frequently rocked, and the shooting team spoke more about their relationship than the movie, according to the book. Meryl admits she felt like a rock star when she first met Jack. Unfortunately, their brief union came to a violent conclusion. After the filming, Meryl allegedly tossed Nicholson out of the hotel room and declared that she would never work with him again. Later, though, she disputed their claims. But when asked on a talk show who she would wed, have sex with, and murder, Meryl Streep said that she would pick Robert Redford as a husband, have sex with Jack Nicholson, and murder Dustin Hoffman. However, the end of his relationship with Angelica did not signal the end of his romantic life. The number of gorgeous women he hooked out with was still impressive. For a while, he dated Veronica Cartwright, an actress, and Lara Flynn Boyle, a model who drastically reduced her weight in an effort to catch Nicholson cheating. Additionally, he was spotted with starlets Amber Smith and Amanda de Cadenet, both well known for appearing on reality shows featuring supposed celebrities trying to quit using narcotics. Nicholson purchased his current home, a 330 square meter residence on Mullenhold Drive, for $80,000 in 1969. Warren Beatty and Marlon Brando lived next door at the time. Later, to ensure his solitude, he purchased 2 adjacent homes. After Brando passed away in 2004, he also bought his abandoned house, which he demolished, and established a garden. Nicholson appeared to undergo some adjustment after the death and the seclusion of Brando, the archetypal lousy father. He started spending more time with his kids. In London, he took Lorraine to the theater instead of his girlfriends and attended Jennifer, his daughter who had given birth to 2 grandchildren, Design's exhibition. "I'm pleased with how well my children turned out, even though I wasn't always actively involved in their lives." The well-known actor, who frequently attends Los Angeles Lakers games and has supported the team all of his life, remarked that parenting is in the hands of the gods and that we can only do our best. Nicholson has been living a quieter life and dealing with the loneliness of old age since his last acting performance in the 2010 romance thriller How Do You Know Love, which earned him the erstwhile moniker of Hollywood's top womanizer. Although Nicholson is scheduled to perform in a movie soon, his co-worker Peter Fonda, who has known Nicholson since they both appeared in the 1969 movie Naked in the Saddle, believes that the former top Hollywood seducer has switched to acting. Pension. He truly did retire. I don't want to speak for him, but the truth is that he has a long and prosperous career behind him, one that allowed him to ensure his financial future. When speaking on the phone, Fonda said he no longer asks his old friend how he's doing but how he is and how he feels, since sometimes people have their reasons that you don't know. "Life has changed for me. I no longer find enjoyment in the things I once did. I don't frequent clubs. I don't act irrationally or chase after ladies." Although, after a 7-year break, the actor reportedly took a role in the American adaptation of the German film Toni Erdmann, allegedly said, "Now it's simply a game that's not worth the effort." Additionally, according to Variety, he encouraged the movie company Paramount to purchase the rights for the English-language adaptation of the critically acclaimed German film Toni Erdmann, which was helmed by Maren Ade and last year nominated for an Oscar and a Golden Globe. The film is about the complicated relationship between a father and daughter. It has garnered numerous accolades in Europe. In the remake, performed by Kristen Wiig, Nicholson will play a music professor who poses as Toni Erdmann to be more approachable to his daughter. He will return to the big screen, which will be fortunate for many of his fans. Since Jack Nicholson no longer does hard drugs, his nose's septum has been replaced with a gold one because it was so badly broken. After several of his close friends died from drug overdoses, his fervor slightly waned. Later, he addressed the subject of dying personally. "Losing friends is among the worst aspects of becoming older. It begins pretty gradually at first before becoming a monthly occurrence. When will that bell ring for me? This is the only thought you can think of left. You may feel the tip of the lethal knife at this time. Who else wants to confront God and the light at the end of the tunnel because it's so terrifying? I don't, not yet," declared Jack, who later acknowledged that becoming older has made him a better man. "Because I lost my ability to seduce people, I became a better person as I grew older. You have to adjust to how things are," said Nicholson, who also acknowledged that he is disappointed that he is no longer as alluring to women as he once was. Thanks for watching. Till next time.